This is a blank canvas. As an artist, it is the most freeing thing on the entire planet. And this is a blank canvas with the Doomsday trailer on it. Do you want? I certainly don't want. Do you want it? A movie is a blank canvas. While the canvas itself could become anything from a child's drawing to a Rossio reproduction, the second a trailer hints that its leading plots are dull, we look to a different one. The job of a trailer is to get you to buy a ticket, but because Hollywood does that by investing in the most bland parts of storytelling, their trailers have split into 3 major flavors. So what are they missing, and who don't they trust? Despite their name, I don't just mean new entries in an old franchise, although those are a major modern day example. When I say legacy trailer, you say The Odyssey and Doomsday. Here I specifically mean trailers that don't make you interested in the actual story, but only make you interested in the cultural context around them. Honestly, before making this video, I thought I would be defending The Odyssey, but no, that first trailer is a horrible representation of the movie, and so is most of the casting. But not for the reasons that everyone online is talking about. People just like to have an excuse to discriminate. The original trailer says nothing about the film except that the men are desperate to get home, which is, you know, every man on a Taco Tuesday. The whole trailer is entirely carried by its iconography. The visuals themselves are beautiful, but we are not actually learning anything about these characters or their conflict. Yes, show don't tell is important in storytelling, but the point of a trailer is, you know, to kinda tell us. Instead, for some reason, the Universal Quality Assurance meeting put the most amount of effort into showing you 2 things: popular actors and Christopher Nolan. Imagine you're staring at a wall of paintings. Some of them are good, some of them are bad, but all of them have a particular section that stands out above the rest. For now, we're going to call that section l'acteur. Then Mike the painter takes those quality sections, spreads them out on a new canvas, and fills in the gaps with his own picture. However, when you ask Mike for a hint about his new work, he only shows you what he took from everyone else. Not only is that boring, but what if you don't know the other paintings that Mike took from? I should be able to show a trailer to anyone and get them interested, but imagine you have never seen any of these actors before. Would that make the trailer or the movie itself better? I don't really know. At the end of the day, the casting and dialogue of The Odyssey are a creative decision that most people simply disagree with, even if they enjoyed the movie, but Mike's milquetoast trailers did The Odyssey no favors. And on a similar vein, the Doomsday trailer personally pushed my grandmother down a flight of stairs. If nothing else, The Odyssey looks beautiful and sounds like a melody, but the current main trailer for Doomsday is just clunky. The only individual through line in this entire trailer is just, hey, you remember this? The first second has the old X-Men coming back, and the last second has Steve Rogers coming back. It's like when you meet an old friend from elementary school, and for some reason, they only want to talk about elementary school. So besides those reminders, the trailer just has 2 characters going, and they died. Ooh, scary thing is on the way. And then a mishmash of faces from the last few years of Marvel. And I keep on seeing people online saying, but they've always just smashed characters together. Bitch, what are you on? Go watch the Civil War and Infinity War trailer. Civil War sets up a specific internal conflict for Cap and hints at how that conflict will turn out between the characters. Infinity War uses its scale to its advantage. Each of the characters say their line in a way very similar to the first Avengers trailer, while actually showing the stakes.
There was an idea
to bring together a group of remarkable people.
The Doomsday trailer has no individual standout character, and the only use of its scale is putting people in rooms together. And what makes this even worse is that before the main trailer, we had already gotten 3 teasers around the film, and honestly, those are all so much better. The Doomsday trailer is what happens when you ask a freshman to properly expose an image and then add some fucking Canva graphics. But there is actual emotional depth and like camera depth in the teasers. Fun fact, the characters' individual emotions are going to stay with us a lot more than a voiceover telling us to be scared. It is the exact same canvas problem as the Odyssey, but instead of, grabbing highlights from a wide-ranging selection of films, they are only grabbing highlights from a movie series that has been waning in quality for almost a decade now. While the Odyssey requires the movie star, Doomsday requires the sequel, and that's because if Hollywood can convince you that the individual story does not matter, then they will make so much more money. If you will see a movie for Tom Holland, they will manufacture stars just like him. If you'll see the second Iron Man film, they will give you 16 more years of exactly the same, because all of it is just a means to an end. And these trailers don't trust or want the audience to be interested in the actual product, just the ingredients. Okay, I'm calm now. On a slightly less doomer note, these are the often loved middle child. Not the movies, obviously, but the trailers themselves for Dune Part 3 and Spider-Man Brand New Day. First off, both of these trailers are, they're simply awesome, and that's because they know two things. Numero uno, you are already trapped in the car, and you got in willingly. The end of Dune Part 2 and Spider-Man No Way Home are perfectly conducive for the question of what comes next? And considering their box office responses, people definitely want more. And much more importantly, number two, they actually have that much more to give. These movies aren't just conceptual continuations of stories and characters from before, they actually add on. These trailers are telling us exactly where they're picking up from. Peter Parker no longer has the friends that have surrounded him for 10 years, and because of that, he is falling out of his own self-identity. Paul Atreides finally has the full power of what his father sought in the desert, but Paul has also become a more vengeful force across the universe. Both of these trailers also have a thematic through line that's planted in them that makes us actually invested in the characters. What? Dune's trailer starts off by showing us the modern day Paul and contrasting him against his previous relationship with Chani. And the end shows Paul's now universal control of desert power, contrasting against modern day Chani. The Brand New Day trailer bookends both sides with Peter watching MJ and Ned from the outside, but trying to get closer. These effectively tell the audience what we're meant to be caring about and why all the action actually matters. But what if a trailer shows too much?
I didn't know you could get that big.
A trailer is like carefully sliding a sheet of paper over your artwork before the big reveal day. It should make people want to come back because they're expecting to see more. But as an artist, maybe you're not too confident in your own work, so you show a little bit too much, and come reveal day, you realize you left very little up to the imagination. Having seen the movie twice so far, that is the biggest problem with the Spider-Man trailers. They reveal way too much and they're focused on the wrong things. First off, I'm going to say I'm not going to spoil anything about the film. These trailers love to show the mystery character, but the problem with that is the mystery doesn't actually add anything to the story, and once it's solved, it doesn't change anything, and only knowledgeable fans will care. Mind you, everybody knew who the mystery character was before the movie came out, and alongside that, every major action set piece is in these trailers, and honestly, that sucks, because these trailers are really good, but when put next to the movie, they feel like a step in the wrong direction. Dune, on the other hand, solves this by using repetitive dialogue and shots while doubling down on the relationship between Paul and Chani, the thing that is most central to that film. Now, boys and girls, it is show and tell time. But we're just going to be comparing our shows, and only I get to talk. Today, we have Bruce Banner and Alia Atreides. Over Spider-Man's main trailers, Bruce Banner and Hulk are shown 6 to 8 times. In those appearances, he is doing two things. Number one, we see Bruce helping Peter solve his mutation problem, and number two, we see Hulk being controlled by the mystery character. These are both explicitly told to us through dialogue and through visuals, and that is all he does in the movie. It's really just as short as his time with Natasha, Badum Ching, big potato stuff. It's literally that, and the trailers make everyone and their mother know those two scenes beforehand. In Dune's trailers, Alia is also shown 6 to 8 times, but she will have a much larger role than Bruce in Spider-Man, and in those scenes that we see her, we have no clue what she's doing unless you're like me and you've read the book. But what you do know from those scenes is that she's kind of terrifying. Both of these trailers are fantastic at marketing their specific movies, however, they still fall into some major Hollywood traps by not entirely trusting their stories, so they supplement that with scantily clad trailers. This is obviously the portion of the video where I talk about obsession and backrooms. These trailers, by their very definition, have to do a lot more heavy lifting. They gotta get big! They gotta get swole for the grandmother that's never heard of the backrooms or love. They have to introduce a lot more from the characters to the concept itself, and both of these trailers focus on one or the other. Obsession is mostly focused on its characters, so the concept is simple. The movie is specifically focused on Bear and how his wish, the concept, affects Nicky, also planting the thematic seeds, telling us that he is not a good dude. I know, surprising, right? The trailer is also setting up a promise of escalation. We see Nicky slowly get more and more unhinged, and as an audience, we want to see where that ends up. But honestly, this trailer shows way too much, especially in the last section, and that's to some degree because they think they have to. There are 0 notable names or faces attached to this trailer, so they are showing you scenes that you'll want more context around.
Nicky?
Now, I'm aware I need to undress him. The Backrooms is not an original movie or concept. This one trailer didn't convince 40 million people to go see a random thing in theaters, but Hollywood treated it like it did, and also, talking about it here makes for a more well-rounded last section of my video. So shut up. This trailer doesn't care about the characters. Actually, they're just a method through which the concept can be grounded. Also, having an Oscar-winning lead and nominated co-star helps the audience feel more at ease. This trailer pulls us in with a place we're told is infinitely spanning, and then it reminds us that if we want to see more, somebody has to explore it. And from there, it continuously one-ups itself. What happens when somebody does explore it? They get lost. What happens when somebody's lost in this infinitely spanning place? Somebody else has to go in and find it. And in the last section, where we watch that person sprint away from something, we have to ask, did he really get lost, or did something find him? This trailer is beautifully steeped in concept, which is both good and sometimes less good. The Obsession and Backrooms trailer are actually at a point where they have to convince a general audience to see them. And what I find most interesting is that they did not really work. The Backrooms already has a huge online presence, and Obsession only grew due to word of mouth and not due to any new trailers. There are obviously better trailers that balance concept and character in an original story, and A24 is really good at making those, but as I was researching, watching trailers for this video, I think this comment really summed up most people's thoughts. One of my biggest hobbies is watching hundreds of trailers to A24 films with absolutely incredible premises, making a mental note to see them in theaters, and then never ever doing so. Because at the end of the day, whether a trailer falls into one of my 3 randomly created categories, it is only as effective as it gets you to buy a ticket and see a movie. So while word of mouth remains the most effective treatment for a bad box office, Hollywood will keep diagnosing same canvas syndrome. Thank you very much for watching. Doodles.